In this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate how to use the border and title block tool and to modify it to fit your project. Now here in the sheet layers that I've sent to you in the file, I've already created some sheet layers with borders and title blocks intact, and you're free to use those, but I'm going to also demonstrate how you might modify those to customize them for your own use. So the first thing we want to do is learn how to add information to the title block. So you'll note here in the title block that there are several of these fields that are missing. When I roll over it, you'll see that there are text blocks that are part of the title block but that need information. Now these are drawing from a database that I'm going to show you how to access in just a moment. So the first thing we want to do here is select the title block, and I'm going to double click on it to open up the edit features. Like most other things in Vectorworks, double clicking on an object opens up typically some way to edit it. So here we have several options. We can edit the settings for project data, we can edit the title block layout, or we can edit the title block manager. We want to use the title block manager. For this first part, the title block layout is going to be the physical drawn layout of the block, and that's where you could create your own custom block. The title block manager is just allowing us to put information about this current block that's in use. So we'll select title block manager and click OK. So that brings up this particular dialog box. Here we have tabs for project data, sheet data, revision data, and so forth. For this project, we're going to evaluate and learn about the project data and the sheet data. As you may expect, the project data is the stuff that's going to stay consistent through all of the sheet layers and every title block that every time you use this particular title block, this project data will stay the same. So we can set things like the title and the director and the designer in the project data. Sheet data, on the other hand, are data that are related specifically to the individual drawings, the different pages of the set of drawings that we're going to distribute. Let's begin with the project data, and we'll edit those. Because this is based on another title block, a default title block, this first page of information is actually irrelevant and doesn't appear anywhere in the title block. I've simplified the amount of information that's required. So this stuff might be relevant if I were going to do an architectural drawing, but for me is not relevant. So I'm going to click Next. Here is where we have the first things that are relevant on the title block. This is the show title 2, show title 3. I've created those fields in this particular custom block. I'm going to go ahead and create, these are kind of close together, so I'm going to take this text here of Blythe and I'm going to put it in show title 1 so that you can see what happens when we change it. I'm going to go ahead and put my name here in the designer slot, and you could do the same for yours when you do it. I don't have a director, or you can make up a director if you want. I'm just going to put some dashes there. I'm going to go to the next page. Here we are in the Snow Drama Theater. That's the correct venue, and I do have 3 plates for this. If you had more or less plates, you may wind up with 4 plates for your design, or 2 plates. So you would change the total number of drawings here. Now we're ready to move on to sheet data. I've already put in some of this information, so we'll go to the next bit. Here's where I'm going to put the title of the drawing itself. So this is my section drawing, so I'm going to add section to here. I'm going to tell you who drew it. Sometimes the designer doesn't draw his or her own drawings. Maybe the assistant did, and so this would be great information to know for someone who had a question about the drawing, not about the design, in case you didn't draw it. So I'm going to put my initials there. I could also put the file name if I wanted to, and then we are ready to go. So I'm going to click OK. That's everything that we need in this title block. And you'll note now that the title block automatically updates with that new information that we just put in, and every section of it has some information. Now let's say, for example, we wanted to edit the layout of this. Perhaps it's bringing in incorrect information, or you wanted to customize it. We would follow the same path. So I'm going to go ahead and double click on this. To edit the layout of the block, then, we're going to select Title Block Layout instead of Title Block Manager. I'll click that one and click OK. It's going to remind me that this style is going to be affected, and so every time I use this block in the future, the changes that I make right now are going to impact that design. So I'll go ahead and accept that with that warning. So here in this particular one, you'll note here I've got this empty text block right here, and I can check to see where that information is coming from in the title block manager. In the object info palette, I can scroll down here to title block data, and it is a linked value, and the parameter is currently sheet data current plot date. What I want it to do is actually feed the automatic date, and so there, I know that that one is sheet data date, and so I'll assign that field to there, and it automatically populates probably with the date that I created this title block with that information. I could change any of the other things, any of these other fields in the same way. I could also add additional graphics or images, or change the shape or the disposition of the title block here by moving its elements or adjusting or adding new elements. So I could change all of that here in the title block layout. When I'm finished with the layout, I click OK. And here I've got these things now assigned. So that is how you could create a brand new custom title block that would fit your particular needs. You could add the branding of your company, of your school, or of your corporation into the title block. Anything that you can draw in Vectorworks, you can add as a graphic element to a title block. So that's how you would use the Layout Manager. So now I've edited and modified everything for this particular sheet. Now when I select a new sheet of information, I can go in and do the same thing. So here is this particular sheet with its title block. I can double click on it. I can go to Title Block Manager, click OK. And instead of editing the project data, which we know is going to be consistent across all of the drawings, I can just modify the sheet data. Okay. So here everything else seems to be quite correct. And what I want to do now is just change the title of this page, which happens to be my On Stage Lights. So I'm going to make this the On Stage Plot. The drawing title is the same. This is the page number. It's drawing automatically from the page. And I'm going to click OK. Then I can go to my final page of drafting. Here it is. This is the Title Block Manager. And I can go through and give it also its own title. Now you'll notice as we go along that there is an error here. You'll notice here that I now have page 4 of 3 pages, simply because I had other sheet layers in here before, and now this one is number 4. So I would use the navigation sheet layers descriptions to do that. And in order to do that, I'll just right click. I'll edit this top one. This one now, instead of being called sheet number section, will now be called sheet number 1. I'll click OK. We'll go to the next one here. I'll right click, click edit. This now becomes sheet number 2, and I'll click OK. And then finally, this one will become sheet number 3, and I'll click OK. So there is a basic overview of how to use the Title Block Manager and the Title Block Layout Editor to customize and refine your title blocks.